Digi-Key Electronics presents Maker Club, a new video series showcasing the creativity and ingenuity of makers in Asia, created in partnership with EE Focus and the Hackaday Prize. As one of the world's most trusted distributors, Digi-Key serves both engineers and makers who envision a better world through the creation of new and exciting electronics. In this episode, we sit down with Naveen Kumar, a bioinformatician and researcher, to discuss his experience as part of the maker community.
I'm Naveen Kumar. I am a bioinformatician and researcher working in a reputed research institute here in Japan. And also I am a maker and thinker.
As a bioinformatician, how did you first get in touch with Raspberry Pi and Arduino?
In 2012 or 2013, actually, I went to an electronics expo in New Delhi, India. So where I saw very first version of Raspberry Pi. And since then, I have been playing with it. And while working on Raspberry Pi, I came to know about Arduino ecosystem. And later on, I mostly work with Arduino and similar development boards.
Is all of your current maker work based on Raspberry Pi and Arduino?
Most of my current maker work are based on Raspberry Pi and Arduino, but I also work with other development boards from NXP or the Nordic Semiconductor, Cypress Semiconductor, or ESP, Sperif Systems, and many other variants of Arduino boards from CD Studio or SparkFun, Pimoroni or Adafruit. So I actually work with most of the concurrent Arduino ecosystem.
Which step do you think is the most difficult for an idea to work?
Most of my work is related to machine learning on the edge devices. So initial steps of sensor data collection and pre-processing are time-consuming and difficult because it depends on the sensor. I mean, when you mount the sensor in different places, depend on the nature of the sensor gathering job. So sometimes it works or sometimes it doesn't work, depends on the driver you are using. So, and pre-processing, and it's kind of a lot of redoing is required. So this is, in my opinion, very difficult for me. And if the data is not in good shape, all the post work gets affected.
Can you share a project in progress with us which you are proud of?
Actually, I am working on a project which is related to the indoor air quality prediction using a lot of sensors. For example, dust sensor, temperature, humidity sensors, different kind of gas sensors. But this project is initial phase. But I will show you one of my other project, which I just started. And I wanted to show you it is related to an IoT bulb. So you can see this here. And there is a microcontroller inside that. There is a small microcontroller, which is attached to this NeoPixel. This is the RGB LED. And this is one of the small board from the Nordic Semiconductor. So actually, I'm going to make a meeting notifier or some other useful notifier things. Since this board already have a BLE, the Bluetooth capability. So later, I mean, the ideas are open. So this can be actually can be used for the many kind of notification systems. So the idea is I will put this on in this bulb, and this will be very independent. I mean, it will run by your own and by battery operated and very low power. And right now I am showing you using the battery pack. So it just kind of blinks. You can see this is the notification system. This all will be actually operated with the machine learning later. So this will actually maybe sense something. So I will introduce some sensor on this project and make something like the idea is open actually. So right now I'm working on it. So this is work in progress.
We find that you share your work open source on several platforms. Why did you choose different platforms?
Most of my projects were created for hackathons or contests. So for the contest from different platforms, so they were submitted to the corresponding platforms. but I also make something which is not related to any contest or hackathon. But since I have been using those platforms, so I choose those to submit my project there.
Have you joined any maker or technical communities so far?
Yes, I am an active member of the Machine Learning Tokyo community, so which is actually a very huge community, like more than 9,000 members worldwide. And I'm part of Age AI Lab, which is so machine learning. Tokyo has many different, small community part, and I'm part of one of the Age AI Lab where I help in organizing a workshop and online sessions.
Have you learned embedded hardware, edge AI, or other related knowledge from these platforms?
Yes, of course, I learned mostly by participating in the hackathons and contests on different platforms. And also I learned a lot from projects other maker shared on these online platforms.
Can you share something you have learned from these platforms?
I learned many things from this platform. So first thing is actually the knowledge sharing, and uh, discussing about your idea with other community members. And suppose if you are participating in contest with other participant from the community, then you learn a lot from each other, right? So you share your idea, you implement your idea, and then you work together. So those are actually a good point of any community.
You helped organize workshops related to edge AI in communities. Did you expect to learn or communicate in the community?
Actually, I joined Machine Learning Tokyo for learning from community members and speakers, because they actually organize great talks and workshop. So those were very helpful for an absolute beginners like me. So I think I joined this community in 2018, and since then I am an active member of this community. And later I was given opportunity to organize online learning sessions for ASI in this community.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned from the Maker Tech community?
So the biggest lesson I have learned from the community is learning while doing and breaking things. So the best way to learn is to break things and fix them later. And also there are many lessons could be like collaborating with others and doing things together. So for example, robotics is a big complex topic. It's very hard for one person to understand all aspects of building a or functioning, making a robot from scratch. But by pulling knowledge from multiple people with their knowledge and specialization, such a project is possible. So, and reading from community members' project is also a great learning, and we know what we should do and what we should not do. And decision making for hardware and sensor selection and other things, actually those are also learning things from or lessons from the community, because you make decision while you're purchasing and other things. So those are very important aspects.
Do you have any suggestions for choosing community platforms?
It's also important that you share your knowledge and discuss things through these platforms. And also I find many other small things but very important things for any community platform. So one is the project documentation submission systems. So this should be actually easy for beginners or any intermediate or advanced users. So I always face submitting projects sometimes because they are not very channelized, or when you submit your videos or images. So if you have a very good submission systems, then you write in a flow, like many good blogging system has those kind of thing. But I find lacking this kind of thing in many online submission systems for the maker community. So those are actually good add-on if they do. And active discussion forum is a must. So you need something to discuss with someone and you find some solution for your problem, then you search in the forum or ask there and post there, and you get back the answer quickly. So those are very important in choosing the community. And some community or online services actually provide the online training workshops. So those are actually really useful. So you actually join their workshop and learn things while doing or watching. So those are really good. And also some community, actually they provide incentive in terms of like a scoring system or point system, or sometimes they provide giveaways of free hardware or online services. So those are actually very encouraging for beginners, especially for students or like aspirant makers. So these are actually good points to join any community.